Steamin' Demon is the classic aero looping coaster at Six Flags Great Escape. I have a shred of nostalgia for this coaster because it was one of my first loopers, but many people consider this ride a steaming pile of poo. What do I think? Find out in this review. Pontchartrain Beach was an amusement park in New Orleans from 1928 to 1983. In its last season, the park had 3 coasters, 2 wood coasters, and an aero loop screw named Ragin' Cajun. After the park closed, it was purchased by a recently renamed theme park in New York. From 1954 to 1982, this park was known as Storytown, USA. In 1983, the park was rebranded as the Great Escape. At the time, the park had just one roller coaster, a Pinfari Zyklon named Italian Roller Coaster. So for the 1984 season, they made a splashy addition. They installed the former Ragin' Cajun, naming it Steamin' Demon, and it was placed in a brilliant location. The coaster runs parallel to Route 9, so it's highly visible to prospective customers driving by. It was especially striking a few decades ago before the trees grew in alongside the highway and when looping coasters were more rare. This was one of the state's first coasters to take guests upside down. The Kellers also pop with the orange track and blue supports. The ride could use a repaint to freshen it up, but I would argue this coaster's nearby neighbor needs it more in Canyon Blaster. Steamin' Demon is located towards the back of Ghost Town. I love the look of this western-themed land as a whole, but Steamin' Demon has absolutely no theming. When Adirondack Outlaw was added in 2021, this coaster's entrance and line were repositioned to accommodate the new flat ride. There's now a plaza servicing both rides. Steamin' Demon's queue consists of a ramp down to the station. This is very little shade. There are just some coverings for safety purposes when the coaster passes overhead. Most of it sits out in the sun. Fortunately, you won't have to wait long for this ride. This ride is almost always a complete walk-on. It is included in the park's paid Go Fast Pass Skip the Line service if it ever has a sizable wait though. The only year this coaster consistently had a long wait in recent memory has been 2016, when the coaster unfortunately got virtual reality headsets. This led to 8 to 10 minute dispatches due to the process of securing the headsets to each rider individually. I never rode Steamin' Demon with VR, but I heard it was a miserable experience. The shaking made the visuals disorienting if the headset even stayed in place. It shifted for so many riders due to the roughness. You're welcome to select any row you'd like once you reach the station. My preferred seats are in the back car for the full effect of the drop. This coaster only has one train. It features 7 cars. Each car is 2 rows of 2, so the train seats a max of 28 riders. Riders are then restrained by an over-the-shoulder harness. If you're on the shorter side, this can be a problem. Steamin' Demon is not the smoothest coaster, and that's putting it mildly. So if your ears are trapped between the harness, they will likely slam side to side, which is really uncomfortable. If you're shorter and want to ride this, I would suggest leaning forward to prevent this. Now myself, I am fortunate enough that my ears are above the harness. This means I don't get headbanging. Neck chopping is still possible though if you don't properly brace yourself. Once dispatched, you roll out of the station and round a corner. You then ascend the lift hill. You don't see much of the park due to its placement, but you can listen to those glorious Aero anti-rollbacks clacking on the way up. Once at the top, there's a small dip and a 180-degree turn to the right. This leads in the ride's only drop. It's a 65-foot or 20-meter tall plunge. It's a straight drop. The air time is not as abrupt as some other aero loopers, but it does offer some weak floater air time in the rear rows. Next is a vertical loop. This is the best of the ride's 3 inversions by far. This teardrop-shaped loop pulls very strong positive Gs in any row. I particularly like it in the back though, as you're rapidly pulled downwards. Up until this point, Steamin' Demon is enjoyable. Then the ride quite literally takes a turn for the worse. There's a bank turn around the station. There's a lateral jolt that throws you sideways midway through, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. You then have a bad transition into the corkscrews. The train is banked at a 45-degree angle sideways, and then you roll into back-to-back corkscrews. The entry is jarring. Now, most Arrow loopers, the corkscrews themselves are fairly fluid, but on Steam and Demon, they very noticeably jackhammer the entire train. You can visibly see the heads of the riders ahead of me shaking in my back row POV. It never used to be this rough. I remember the corkscrews being on par with other Arrow loopers in my earlier strides on it, but this element has degraded mightily in recent years. Then there's a bad pothole exiting the second corkscrew. You can also see this slam on my POV. Then there's a mild 180-degree turn towards the brakes. You then come to a stop and return to the station, ending the 1,565-foot, or 477-meter-long coaster. This is a super short ride, no sugarcoating that. Drop to brakes is roughly 20 seconds, but that may be a good thing with the coaster considering how it tracks. Really, the roughness is the biggest issue. So, what would I rate the Steam and Demon? I have to give this coaster a 2 out of 10. It is well below average your standard looping coaster anyway due to the length, and then the roughness knocks it down even further. The start is fun between the airtime and the drop and that forceful vertical loop, but the following turns and corkscrews can be very uncomfortable, especially if you're on the shorter side. I can tolerate this ride because my head is above the harness and I know how to brace myself, but objectively, this ride has seen better days. That is why I would love to see this coaster replaced with something newer, more dynamic, and most importantly comfortable in the future. My pipe dream is for an RMC Raptor. That ride would fit in the plot, the lower capacity would not be a problem at Great Escape, and it would instantly become the bona fide best attraction here. However, Great Escape just got Bobcat for the 2024 season. This was their first coaster in 20 years. So I think it'll be quite some time until this park gets another one. For that reason, I would rather see them keep Steam and Demon running until they're able to replace it. It would really stink to see this prime plot of land empty for several years. And if they are planning to keep this ride running for the long haul, maybe they can consider updated trains with vest harnesses. Six Flags has done this a few times in recent memory with a few of their other rough coasters in the chain, and it has helped quite a bit. It actually makes the experience tolerable for all, not just for those who can get their heads above the harness. So those are my thoughts on Steam and Demon at Six Flags Great Escape. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Do you find it uncomfortable? Or do you find it fun? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.